Hello, everybody, and welcome as TV Kojiko, now on HD 700, brings you action from the Men's Competitive League at the Oakville Curling Club. Hello, everybody. I'm Don McMillan, along with Dave Sykes, and a pleasure to have you and to be watching curling. Dave, this is going to be interesting because this is an A-division game, so we're talking about guys who have played in provincials and at very serious levels, so we're going to see some really great curling here.
We will. These are part of the A group on Thursday night at the Oakville Curling Club. This is the best curlers in the club, and they're two young teams here, two very aggressive teams. I think we'll see a very good game.
Mike Shea is the lead for the John Duguay team, and they are going to be throwing yellow rocks.
Right off the bat, you see we've got Wes Johnson's team has left the center guard up, and Duguay and his team are going around it.
Kevin Mooney had the first shot, and see what Shea does with it, and gonna go right through. So a little bit of oomph to it, and so let's see what Kevin Mooney. Mooney's a student at White Oaks, 13 years curling. Oh, can you imagine that? He's a student. He's been curling for 13 years.
They certainly start younger than we were allowed to when we were kids.
Exactly.
Left-hander.
Left-hander again. So is the next guy too, who's going to be curling for the Wes Johnson. This is the Wes Johnson team. See what Mooney can do now is we're just trying to get things organized. There are 8 rinks in this facility, and there's a great shot in there by Mooney. He just about buries it on the pin.
Of course, as soon as I said there'd be some great sweeping, we've seen 2 straight rocks without one bit of sweeping.
Exactly. Once again, this is Mike Shea.
Mike's been asked to make a freeze here. He'd like to come right up to the face of that rock without moving it. Once again, no sweeping.
Mike Shea curling for 15 years.
Mike's a fixture around the club. He'll play Thursdays, Mondays, Tuesdays. Always willing to spare for somebody after his kids go to bed. He's a spare. He'll spare at 9 for you. And
works at the Toronto Stock Exchange, so he lives in Oakville with his wife and his kids. And there's a great shot in there by Shea. As he just a little bit too much oomph, and he's just tapped it rather than sitting on the edge.
Yeah, not perfect, but a pretty good shot. He's only showed the outside of the rock. Pretty hard to get that past the back red one.
28 years of curling for Fred Brockbank, and he works for Ford. He's also a lefty.
Another lefty. You notice Fred never wears a jacket either. He's generates a lot of heat out there. He works really hard on the broom, and it's not as warm out there as Fred makes it look.
Definitely is not. Watch it in here now as he brings it in, and just
great
beautiful little tap back. And the red lies 2, and that is the Wes Johnson team. And this will set up now Nathan Small.
So Nathan's been asked to freeze to that red rock that Fred just threw.
Nathan Small curling for 18 years.
Paul and Mike on the brooms. They got on this one pretty quickly. Don't know if they can drag it far enough.
Trying to get it. They're going to get it at least into the 12 foot, and they just might bring it all the way they do. What a great job they were.
That's part of the sweeping we're talking about. You'll see a lot of that tonight.
So rocks, you have four rocks all in the 4 foot. Once again now, this is Brockbank. It's interesting, Brockbank's father, Bill Finley, 93 years old. He's still curling here.
He's an institution out here.
And the other thing, too, is that Fred met his wife, Dorothy, here. They were in mixed. The rest is history.
They're hoping to put this in the top of the rings and just protect them. Duguay put that rock in there, hoping to bump it up later. You see at this level of curling a lot of positioning in the early ends. They don't really care who's shot or who's the second shot if they can get their rocks in the spots they want. And once again, that's exactly what Wes wanted. Wes Johnson sitting 2 still. Jonathan's asked Nathan to peel this guard now.
And Nathan Small with his second. He's the second. Shea and Garreau are the sweepers. peeling the guard, and that's exactly what he did. 4 rocks still in play. Make that 5.
Wes has indicated he'd like that replaced.
Red in a good position here with those rocks. If he,
yeah, they are. They are very happy to just exchange these guards. And if he keeps making the guards, it'll be very tough for Jonathan to get a point.
Andrew Ball, 28
Andrew's,
years old. He's an accountant. He's been curling for about 20 years.
Andrew's the new member on this team. Andrew and Wes played together years ago. Andrew's a member in Burlington and has joined Wes this year in Oakville to put a team together after curling against each other for a few years.
He played in the Ontario Tankard in 2010. Once again, a shot coming up, just a little tap.
Yeah, now that's a little deeper than they wanted, and Jonathan will now start moving rocks around. This rock, he'll want Paul to throw some weight here. See those 2 reds at the top is what he's hoping to eliminate. The question is what will happen to the yellow that's in behind the second yellow.
Paul Garreau is the 3rd.
Swept it right out of his hand. Probably a little tight, although
Shea
nope,
and Small doing the sweeping. Bringing it, now they're off it.
Actually didn't curl as much as they wanted.
And there's a great shot. Look at 2 reds. One out and the other replaced. And now yellow is in the middle of those 2 reds.
They actually overswept it a little bit. Didn't curl as much as they wanted. He would like the shooter to stay around up at the top.
They jumped on it right away.
But they're certainly in a better position now. Only looking at 1, and still the yellow rock's in a better spot. So another guard Wes has asked for. Andrew was a little heavy on that first
ball.
one.
See if he's maybe a little off the broom. See if what he's going to do now. Just gentle.
Right center. Right center.
Mooney and Brockbank, boy, they really are going at it hard, trying to get it on the center line. Just short of.
Last bit of curl. It's a pretty good guard. Jonathan will have to try to run that one into the pile of rocks in the rings. Once again, asking for a lot of weight.
Jonathan Duguay.
This is still Paul.
Or that's Paul Garreau, rather.
Yeah.
Thank you. Just going to get rid of the guard. Is it going to do any more damage?
Great shot.
Yes.
That's what they were looking for. And just like that, Jonathan Duguay sits 2.
So now you've got yellow with the 2 in there, and then Wes Johnson.
This is what we talked about a little earlier, where the positioning early in the end leads to those kind of shots. So Wes now is going to hit shot rock and try to roll in front of the second shot.
Wes Johnson involved with the Score IX, Score 10. He's on an online scoring system. He played the Junior Nationals in 2004, and he played in the Ontario Tankard in 2007. Been curling for 14 years.
They haven't touched it yet. He needs this to curl. This sheet of ice can be very straight on this side.
Turning
there
now.
They go now.
Here it comes.
Did they wait too long? Oh, wonderful shot.
Little tapping out, too. Avoided. So now all of a sudden there are 3 reds and then 1 yellow.
Wonderful
for
weight
John
control
Duguay.
there for Wes. He saw the rock, only went maybe a foot out the back of the rings. He wanted to remove it. If he'd thrown any more weight, he would not have got that roll. So the challenge for Jonathan now is to try to remove that rock without touching his yellow. It's going to be very difficult to do.
Jonathan Duguay is an engineering project manager at McCurry Integration. Specialty services in brewing, food, and beverage packaging.
This rink here, Jonathan and Mike, the lead and the skip, have curled together for years. Paul Garreau III is a new addition this year, and Nathan joined them last year, I believe. So you'll see lead and skip talking to each other a lot when they come down here. They know each other's thoughts and moves well in advance. So that ice, he's playing something very quiet. Don't know if he wants to move the red one a little bit or if he's just cozying up to it.
Line's good. Yep, go then. Line's good.
You hear Mike Shea announcing the sweeping. Makes it awful easy for the vise when you're clear like that.
Still pushing hard on it is Shea and Small.
Caught just a little bit slower there, I think.
Garreau coming out to try to help as well.
So
you still have Red with 1.
Red sits 1. West has got to be a little bit concerned about that rock that Jonathan just threw. It can be promoted. Yeah, he's going to look at a way to sit 2.
So you can see Andrew Ball, who is the third, he and Wes Johnson talking it over. Here comes Johnson now.
So they're going to play the wide in turn here, and I believe they're going to try to put this right in there for second shot. He'll have to get all the way to shot rock to count 2.
So here comes Johnson now. In turn. Trying to come around that guard.
Little off, little on. Now they're leaving alone. He's by the guard. Now they want that to curl over and stop. It's a little heavy.
It's his own red, and I don't know.
He's bumping for shot. I don't think he stayed around for second shot.
He already was shot. I think the other yellow one is second shot.
It looks like yellow is second. Jonathan seems to think so. I don't believe he has a direct path to shot rock, though, so he may have to promote the one he threw on his first rock.
So here's Duguay now. He will be throwing the last rock here in this first end.
Yeah, heard him say hack weight.
There's Garreau holding the broom. Duguay.
So the yellow rock that they've put the broom beside, they're going to try to hit that slightly on the high side, drive it back onto shot rock. I don't know if they can get 2 out of this, but they'd be very happy to score. Weight's going to be very important here. The early whoa call. Now they're going.
Yes! Yes, hard!
Is Whoa good early?
Hard, yeah!
Well, I guess it depends. They didn't think it was out there. Now they may have overswept this. They swept it hard the whole way, and it really straightened up.
And it goes right through the hole.
And they chipped their own rock out.
And that is going to set 2.
And maybe 3. Yeah,
maybe
it's 2 for sure. What an unfortunate break. And that early whoa was the right call. Then they swept it. And that's
so 2 red, and
looks like a measure for the third.
That yellow is so tight.
So a big steal right off the bat for Wes Johnson.
You don't very often see or have to see
we'll have to watch for that later. That side of the ice very straight, and it fooled them. They swept it thinking it was going to curl just a little bit more.
Yeah, it did curl just not enough.
Once the broom's on it, it's straightened right up. So they've swung that. They're pointing it's yellow, so it's just
yellow,
a 2
so
for the red.
2. And so Wes Johnson takes an early 2-0 lead here in this first end. This is the A division. And they refer to it as well as ladders. They play 8 ends. It's an 8-end game.
That's right.
And they also they call the bell rule. And the bell rule means that if they don't have, they have X number of minutes, which is 140, not 150, I guess it is. And I don't know what it is now. I didn't. An hour and 40.
An hour and 50 minutes. The bell will after the last game starts. The bell will go, and
right.
when the bell goes, the end you're in is your last end.
Right on.
So it gives them enough time to normally play 8 ends, unless you're a little slow. And I don't think these 2 teams will have any trouble with the time. We've seen them. The guys are in the hack, ready to go. Skips make their decisions pretty quickly.
Kevin Mooney throwing his first rock.
You see Wes, even though he's up 2 points, has called for a tight guard, more aggressive curling. They're not going to change their strategy just because they got an early lead. And we'll see some more rocks in play this end.
So Mike Shea, we talked about him. works in the Toronto Stock Exchange. He's been curling for 15 years.
Mike's also the convener here for our men's leagues. He controls all our computers, and you can log on the day after your game and see all the updates. He did want to say hi to his kids tonight too. They're the kids are Laura and Jacob, his wife Rachel.
Well, they've won some championships here at this curling club as well. 4 in a row, actually, or from 2007 to 10.
Yeah, Mike and Jonathan played for Jim Wilson, who is still curling here and has now won a number of club championships in a row. And then they moved up and took on their own team. They've played in Colts championships. Colts is one level down from the tankard levels, but it's still quite an accomplishment. Year after year, they went into the Colts and did very well.
Kevin Mooney.
So
see if he's just setting up a guard. It's going to be touch and go to get it. They're working hard to get it across the line.
That's not where they wanted that one.
Small and Garreau.
Mike made the great come around, and Mooney was trying to freeze to it. So now Jonathan, good news, bad news. He's got shot rock behind some guards, but he's got last rock, and he probably wouldn't like that middle quite as cluttered.
So Mike Shea once again throwing. I noticed he didn't put his age down on here.
Mike, if Mike makes another good one, Jonathan's looking very good for a 2 or a 3 here.
He gave up a steal of 2 in the first end. Now he's got to fight his way back.
They're on this one early. They're going to have to go hard to get it by the guard. I think they'd like to leave it alone for weight, but it's really curling.
And just touched. They weren't able to do it. It was a little more than paper.
That's
there's still an opening. So what's Wes going to do now?
Wes has just called the freeze, maybe a slight tap.
Fred Brockbank, the lefty.
Fred zeroed in on draw weight right away in the first end. We'll see if he's still got it. Sweepers are indicating there's lots of weight. Wes is watching it for the line. Here comes the curl now. He's certainly going to touch the yellow one.
Doesn't want to hit it hard, just touch it. Great shot.
That is a good shot.
Actually took over.
So right off the bat, if Jonathan wants to score 2 points here, he has to get that red one out of there, because
let's tell you about Fred. Fred indicates he's been married longer than my other teammates have been alive.
I think Fred playing with these guys, it keeps him young.
Oh no, I think he does. He loves to play soccer and hunting and fishing and selling wood carving. You wouldn't think that of him, but he likes wood carving too.
This rock is, Nathan's got this a little narrow. They're trying to save it, but it looks like it's got a piece of the guard as well.
So there's 2 in a row.
Back-to-back clicks on that guard. I don't know if it's not enough ice for the guys not getting all the way out there.
Nathan Small, by the way, has been curling 18 years. Right? I mentioned he's involved in the software industry.
Can you see positioning here? Wes could come down and tap his own and knock the yellow out right now, but he's decided it's a little too soon for that. He has the rest of this end to make that little bump. He wants another one in the top 8 foot, so Jonathan can't control that front part. They call that the scoring zone, getting rocks into the top 8 foot, top 4 foot, even top 12 foot to be bumped up later.
So Brockbank.
Looks like Fred's on the guard as well. We seem to have a lot of curl going towards the wall, and it was the opposite of what we saw Jonathan doing, trying to go away from the wall last end.
And I don't think that red is biting. It doesn't from here. It doesn't look quite. No, it's not. You can see from the overhead, it is not biting. So still only the 2 in, but a lot out front.
So Jonathan's asked Nathan to freeze to this red one, but it's very important that he crosses the face of it. He needs to get the angle set up so that anything that strikes those 2 rocks will push the red away from his yellow.
He had more room on this one.
Yeah, you can see he's hollered wool right away. This rock isn't curling as much.
A little more zip to it.
Yeah, a little heavier, a lot wider. It is coming down now, but it's certainly not going to cross the face. They're now actually trying to sweep it by.
Well, not exactly what he was wanting to do.
Just looking at, it's really close as to who shot right now. I think they may have bumped that red one in for shot.
Andrew Ball now. Andrew's done a lot of curling in universities. Won some gold medals and silver in his 5 years of varsity curling. He also was, we mentioned, at the Ontario Tankard in 2010.
Andrew's also come down a little heavy here. I think West was looking to throw this into the top of the rings. A little extra weight. He's going to bump it up. Roll over.
Well, now we have 4 in.
He's certainly shot now, but he has now given Jonathan a way to get that red out of there. So as good as that shot looked, it's actually a bit of a mistake because Jonathan's going to hit the red that's exposed and have his shooter come across and kick that red one off the top of the button. Whereas before Andrew threw that, he had no way to get it out. He actually does have a path to it now.
So Paul Garreau.
Paul wants to hit half of this outside red one and have his shooting stone slide sideways and kick the other red out, and he's very close to making it.
Trying to get a double here. He's got, well,
oh,
he went right through the hole. You couldn't have programmed that.
That took off on them. They weren't sweeping it early, and when they jumped on it later, it was too late.
So now Andrew Ball will come back, and what's he want to do?
Well, he wants to put this so that Jonathan doesn't have that shot anymore. So he'll try to put it between the two reds in the top 8 foot and make sure that, Jonathan can't make
he'd
that
want to
double.
freeze it on the edge of one of the two.
Yeah, or anywhere in front. But this is curled terrifically, over curled, and now he's hoping to get a guard out of the rub. But I think he's left the same hole there.
He's left a bit of a hole. So once again, Jonathan Duguay has called for Paul Garreau to come through, and
looks like they've changed the turn this time. They're going to come the other way.
It's an in turn. Is it going to get it? Is it going to get the red? We're right behind this rock, and are they behind this sheet?
Got to be close to the guard. I think
close.
they've got it.
Got
what a wonderful looking shot. There you go. Look at that.
Great shot.
What a wonderful shot. That was Paul Garreau. The double to sit 2. Now the way they're lined up, West could make a double and have a shooter roll away, but he's indicated he would like to hit that and roll in front of the other yellow one. So this is a very good call by West. It's tempting to look at that and say I could get both yellows, but he doesn't need to. He's going to hit the one and hope to flop in front of the other one.
So Wes Johnson now with a pair of yellows. Andrew Ball holding the broom. Wes Johnson has a lead. He stole 2 in the first. Just like to get rid of these.
They've waited. This is where we saw Paul's rock take off, but Wes's rock is not making that same kind of move.
Through the hole. One gone. The other moved.
Unfortunately, that didn't work out for him. It leaves Jonathan shot and throwing. Jonathan's got a couple of options here, but he will try to get a second one into the 4 foot, and he just has to pick which turn he's going to throw now.
This will be Duguay's second shot.
So they're taking ice right on the edge of the 12 foot. He wants to draw right on the top of the button. The rock that West just threw that's just biting the 4 foot.
Yeah, I mentioned this is actually Duguay's first shot. He has another one yet. So does, and then Johnson will have one more as well.
So the room he's got to draw into here is quite narrow. 8 foot is not going to be good enough here, so he needs to bite the 4. And he, of course, needs to get at least half of it behind the guard to keep West from throwing a double takeout at him.
Got a...
Mike Shea jumped on that rock right away. Nathan is not as convinced yet.
About a 3 foot. Nathan's small. Mike Shea, the sweepers.
Looking up. It's not curling yet. It's actually still hanging on the outside guard. It's coming off now, but I'm not sure they have the weight.
Just kicks in.
Yeah.
But More in the
won't
way
be happy
than
with that.
More in the way than that could be promoted.
Jonathan's just struggling with figuring out where to put the broom. I think it's his last rock last end, and that one he seemed happy with it, and it just did not do what they expected when they put the broom down.
Well, Wes Johnson looks like he's going to try to come in the back door here.
Yeah, Wes is going to try to come wide. He's got lots of room in front of it. If he can put it in there, it'll be very hard for Jonathan to get out. We have noted that the rocks do not curl as much going away from the wall, so we'll see if he can get some finish on this at the end. He needs it to curl once it's by the guards. However,
here he comes.
He can certainly cut Jonathan down to 1 just by closing this side off.
The rock is beginning to curl now, but there's not.
It's considerably short. I don't know if it got frosty out there. Again, he was out a little wider than anything we'd seen before.
Did he mean to do that? I'm wondering if maybe he did. But you see, you've got Jonathan Duguay with the opportunity of knocking that one yellow.
Yeah, he's
which
going to
is
try to
just on the 12 foot. He can just all he needs to do is promote that.
Full shot.
Perfect shot, just perfect. And so Jonathan Duguay picks up a pair and ties it at 2 here after 2 ends. After Wes Johnson stole 2 in the first end. So the sweeping, great sweeping. Just watch this here now. Just a nice little tap.
As we said, the angle has to be perfect, and they got it.
The biggest thing was that the red rock that you can see there right beside that yellow, it was so close.
So now, for the first time in the game, Wes Johnson has last rock. Jonathan will be asking Mike to leave this rock just short of the rings.
And this is Mike Shea as we begin the third. Certainly doesn't want it in the rings.
He does want it as close to the line as they can get, so let's come over nicely. We'll see Wes go around it. A repeating pattern here. Both these teams very aggressive. Nobody's going to shy away from coming around the guard.
Well, Mike and Jonathan and Nathan, of course, the 3 have been involved, with the what they call the Tim Hortons Colts Championships, which would be considered as sort of, if you count the Ontario Championships as Tier 1, then this would be Tier 2.
That's right. Once upon a time, Colts was just for people with 5 years curling experience and under, and then they changed the rules, and it's open to anybody who's never played at a men's provincial, pretty much.
Kevin Mooney trying to take that old red rock and bury it, and he just has done that.
Terrific come around by Kevin. That's exactly what you want, in front of the tee line, behind the guard.
So now Shea.
Mike's job now is to get in front of that, partially behind the guard.
He's going to go off from the inside, so he wants to be just cornered.
Yeah, and as we've seen before, this is now all about getting your rocks into position, because later on they'll start running those guards back into the rings, and you want yours to be in front of the other team's rocks so that they can't remove yours. This is the spot where Jonathan's rock didn't curl enough going down in the first end, and it looks again like they've run into that. Mike's rock is not crossing the line. We seem to be having a very one-way ice, as we'd call it. It's curling hard left to right and straight right to left.
So Shea leaving it well off the 12 foot, and so it'll be now once again Kevin Mooney with Brockbank and Ball sweeping it. They're just watching it now as it's following down. Now they put the brooms to it. Brockbank in the black, Ball in the red. Well, we talked about the fact that
looks good again.
They wanted one just on the edge of this. And
wow, they almost left that too long. That just got by, and it's perfect.
Tissue paper, and that's just almost exactly. They would have loved it 3 inches more.
So now you see Jonathan in the unenviable position of having to hit his own guards.
That's Wes Johnson, by the way, and that is Andrew Ball. we had a chance to meet these guys. You know these guys.
I
had a chance to meet them for the first time about before we started today.
Nathan throwing a big weight hit. They would like to run this straight back. Leave the guard
small.
up front and remove the Reds. They're close. Look at that. What a great shot. Leave both guards up, remove 2 Reds, and how did that change the end?
All of a sudden, here it is again.
And when you can make those shots, then you can afford to play the game the way these guys play it. Mike's second guard, although it wasn't exactly what they wanted up front, is now a real bonus for them. They have a nice center guard up front. To seize the advantage back, West now needs to roll behind the guards again.
Fred Brockbank. Fred works for Ford.
Fred's not going to roll inside, and now the question is, will he get enough of this to get it out?
He got a whole lot of air, and he went rolling right by it, and boy, one rock can change an end.
Just like that, this end
like
is turned around completely. So now Jonathan wants to get around. Now we've seen how straight the out turn is here. I think they need to go to the in turn, but he's gonna try the out turn again. So we've seen this run very straight twice now. Both Jonathan and Mike had trouble getting this to curl. We'll see if Nathan can do it. He's going this way because he's trying to keep the 2 yellow rocks as far apart as possible. He doesn't want to stack them all on one side where West could get them both with one shot.
And these guys can do that.
They haven't touched it yet. Jonathan's indicating that there's a lot of room.
This is a touchy area. It's been a touchy area all night. It's against the outside wall of the building. There's frost.
Yeah, again, you see no movement at all. So yellow sits 2. Neither one's buried. Wes has indicated that he'd like this a little less than normal takeout. Maybe indicating that Fred was a little heavy on the first one.
So is Fred going to try to take this out and
he's going to try to roll behind the center guards? Yeah. Now they're going.
Wes Johnson with that. It's
going to be very close. Great shot.
And it's exactly what he wanted to do. Not quite the full roll he wanted. He's still sticking out a little bit. But
when you've got last rock, that's not as important. He did get partially behind, which means Jonathan cannot get the inside roll anymore. So Wes won't mind that. It means he'll have to roll away from the center, leaving it open for Wes.
And risking, of course, rolling out. Let's see what's going to happen now.
Paul, he needs to make sure he gets by the guard because you don't want to miss it. But if you don't get close to it, you're going to lose the shooter. You're going to have to go very hard on this one.
This is Garreau. He's going to touch the He's going to touch the guard.
Once again, the momentum has swung again. So Wes had a great end set up, and it looked like Jonathan had it. And now if Wes makes this hit, he's going to be sitting 2 again.
2 yellows. So Paul Garreau, just a couple of inches makes all the difference in the world. And that is Garreau there.
That's where that piece of ice has been so difficult. We saw draws run straight, and then they throw bumper weight, and that one curls.
So what's Wes Johnson want Andrew Ball to do here?
I believe he called the hit and roll, but it's certainly not a full weight hit. Maybe he's just asking for him to draw.
It's a gentle in turn, yeah.
It's, I mean, perhaps red's already shot. I hadn't looked at that. I assumed yellow was shot, but it's close.
It's close. Red, I think, is just.
Yeah. And that's why I guess he's called the draw. He must believe he's shot.
He's going to try to set up 2. He's going to do it. Goodbye. What a great shot. By and almost touching the white. Not quite.
Look at the finish on that rock. He was by that guard by 6 or 7 inches, and 8 feet later it's fully buried. Jonathan's going to try to draw the other way again, and once again, this is the hard turn. Very hard to read.
This is red, line 2.
Jonathan's indicated that it's lots of room. They're really struggling with this piece of ice. I think he's just going to bump red up. Well, if there's any doubt before, there's not anymore.
Red is line 2.
They're
Yellow
both buried.
was lying 3, 4, and 5.
sitting 2 with last rock and throwing. It's,
so this will be Andrew Ball's second shot.
Wes is actually thinking of calling a guard here. A little unusual when you have last rock. Yeah, that's probably a more conventional shot that he's indicating now to draw around the yellow one. He's trying to see how much Duguay can see. I'm wondering whether or not Duguay could make that double later.
You can see him lay the rock on the one red.
So he has settled on just the same shot that Andrew just played. He'd like to come in probably about 3 feet short of the last one he threw.
Once again, you can see Mooney and Brockbank jump on it.
Yeah. This one's curling a lot earlier than his first one did, which would mean he probably has less weight. That's what they indicated. Can they get it by?
Just. Well, it stopped.
Wonderful sweeping.
I just wonder if it did touch it because it stopped.
Wow.
It stopped turning.
Yeah, that's great sweeping. And now
3 and
Mr.
3.
Dugay's in a lot of trouble.
So if you see from overhead now, you can see that there are 3 reds in there, and then there are 3 yellows, and there's the shot right there, and just comes in. And but
it looks like he's going to try to hit that top red very thin, have his shooter go over and hit the other red, maybe get 2 of them out of there. Certainly what he's looking at.
We're at the Oakville Curling Club. This is an A Division game. Both of these teams have players who have played provincially and in the tankards and have won championships at various levels.
Jonathan's out turn. You can see he hasn't taken very much ice. He would like this rock to probably not curl a little bit.
Jonathan is a left-hander as well.
Yeah. I would say if this rock curls more than 2 inches, it's not what he wanted. So he's going to be throwing this hard.
Going to have some zip to it. You can see the quickness of it. He has to release it before the hog line, and he does. And he's
close. He's got to get it by though, and he did.
And he got one.
A little too thick.
Just a little.
He needed to hit that thinner. It overcurled. He probably needed a touch more ice because I think he threw it pretty close to the broom.
So we got rid of one of the reds. There's still 2 and 2 sitting, both on the 4-foot.
Yeah, Jonathan's in a lot of trouble now. Wes is going to throw another one in there, and he's already got the 2 nicely buried. He's going to try to put a 3rd one in. Well, the Duguay team has struggled with that outturn side. The Johnson team keeps piling up these interns, and
they've struggled with anything outside about the 4 to 6 feet from the boards. That's where it seems to be having the problems. Once again now, this is Wes Johnson.
Wes knows this piece of ice very well now. They've thrown a number of draws down here. You know it will finish hard at the end.
Is he going to try to?
They're comfortably by the guard.
Is he going to wick the yellow? Maybe not.
No, it's curling hard now. He doesn't want to bounce. And he doesn't. It's a great shot.
That really puts the pressure on Duguay. You know, can he get a pair here?
Well, he's got to decide whether or not he's going to do something to try to cut them down to. Boy, he might only be trying to cut them to 3.
Out in front, there's a yellow.
He's right now. He's indicating that he wants to draw, although I don't know where he's going to draw to.
Well.
You can see there, that's the other one. The way he indicated, you could drive that yellow one into the pile and hope to get 2 of them out, one of them out.
The yellow you're looking at is actually just off the screen. It's just a little farther. It's out front.
Yeah, that's the...
just a few feet beyond where the screen is.
Well, actually, it's the one you can see right there in the top of the 12-foot.
The one here.
Yeah, that's the one he'd like to hit.
I'm wondering, that's the one he'd tap in, but the other one, I think if he was going to try to take more than one out, he'd probably do the other. There's the other one now, the other one that's farther out.
Yeah.
So he's got two choices there.
Well, the one that's in the rings is actually a better angle for him because the reds are staggered on that angle, and they'll all start to move. The one that's in front of the rings, if it goes in, will just run red onto red onto red.
Exactly, yes.
So this one that he's looking at here gives him a better chance of getting more reds out of the rings. The downside is it removes a little obstacle to Wes if he it makes the draw much easier for Wes afterwards.
So is he going to put some velocity to this?
This will be humming. This he'll throw it as hard as he threw that first one.
Try to tap it into the space.
No, he's throwing this hard, and he's taking
a little
no
more
ice.
outside, he can tap it in, but I think it doesn't have the right angle.
Well, and those reds are situated so perfectly. There's maybe 1 square inch that he could push it into where it couldn't be removed.
Wouldn't he love to get that back, just lean up against that
but
back one?
I tell you, if he hits this perfectly, all of those reds will start moving, and at least 2 of them will go out, and maybe a third.
This is his last shot.
A lot of weight.
Yeah.
We're off it now. It may be too thin.
Maybe missed it.
Yeah. It's that piece of ice has just completely baffled them. It's a draw for 4 for Wes.
So we are tied at 2 right now, but it looks like Wes Johnson has a chance to pick up 4. He's got to sneak his way into the, at least touch a bit of the forefoot. This is not always easy, is it?
It's not, and he's changed sides. They've thrown, even for the sweepers, they saw 3 straight draws go down the same patch of ice. Over here, we know it's straighter. I suspect it's a little slower.
He's asked for more ice. He just asked for a little more ice.
He doesn't need any more ice out here.
Here he goes. Now let's see what he can do. He's got to get full, at least he's got to get just coming up to.
Middle of the 8 foot, I guess, is good.
Middle of 8.
The line should not be an issue here. It's just finding the weight. The sweepers seem quite comfortable with it. They've hardly swept it. They've cleaned it. I'd be very surprised if this isn't perfect.
They got to work at it, and there it is, right in for 4.
Big end for Wes Johnson.
So Wes Johnson picks up 4, and after 3 ends now, he's up by a score of 6-2.
That 4 were all the skips in the third rocks. They were looking at 2 when we started third rocks. So we'll see if Wes changes his play, and he's indicating now that he has. You can see the replay again of Wes's draw.
Pulling it, dragging it.
Well, and with good sweepers like that, the better curlers, they do that. They can throw the rock anywhere from perfect to 12 feet short, and those sweepers will put it in there for him. The only error you can make is being real heavy. So Wes has indicated he wants this rock right in the rings now. No more guards. He'll let Jonathan have to do his own dirty work now.
Kevin Mooney. We talked about Kevin. He's a student at White Oaks.
This is a 9 o'clock draw. Kevin played in the 7 o'clock draw as well. To be
18 years old.
In your teens again and be able to play back-to-back games without breaking a sweat. That's not what Wes wanted. That's short of the rings. Jonathan will be very glad to have that, but he's also
Chris Reinfelds, I think, was supposed to be playing this.
Yeah, Chris is the normal member of this team.
So Kevin Mooney is playing in his mind, isn't it, of Mike Shea to make Nathan Small and Paul Giroux work so hard to get it quarter of an inch
at least it got over. You don't mind sweeping the whole way as long as it gets there. It's when you sweep the whole way and it stops an inch short. So I believe Wes wanted this in, but we've got another guard here.
He did. He wanted it in back. He wanted it back behind.
So this is certainly not the way Wes would want this end to start, up 4 points. And now all of a sudden Jonathan's got 3 guards, and he'll now attack.
So Johnson actually initially asked for that to actually be towards the button.
John, this is the 5 rock.
So this is Mike Shea now. And that is Jonathan Duguay. But here's Shea.
I don't know if Mike got all the way out there. They're sweeping right away. Line's going to be crucial here. They have to get by the guard.
Right now, if it's going
not
to walk,
easing up.
boy,
Jonathan's coming out to help.
It's starting to walk. He gets by 1.
Beautiful shot.
Gets by 2. And he is right, almost directly behind the first red rock.
that worked out well.
And there's a case of where a mistake on the second shot has put.
Yeah, and honestly on both shots, because they did not want any guards in play, and that's the result. Jonathan's taken advantage of that. He got guards without having to put them up himself.
Brockbank is going to try to clear this out.
Yeah. Perfect shot here would be get both red guards and the yellow rock in the rings. But he made one of the red guards go away. We'll see what Jonathan wants to do. He'll probably go around the corner guard that he had Mike put up earlier.
Which means we put him on the wall side, on the right side.
Yeah, as we indicated before, it's not curling away from the wall, which probably means it'll curl hard to the wall. I would expect to see this finish very strongly. Well, when you're 4 points down, they're all crucial, but this becomes a very important draw. Keep the pressure on Wes. Jonathan indicated he was tight. The sweepers are leaving alone, though, indicating he's a little heavy.
Nathan watching it come. He's on his haunches just past the hog line, watching it come. It's going to be deep.
They really need this to stop.
Wes Johnson leaning on it, and it goes right through.
That's
isn't that ironic that the problem they've been having on that side of the ice has been it's been holding itself up, and this one goes through.
And now Wes will get rid of the other guard, and all of a sudden, from being in a little bit of trouble, the end now doesn't look so bad for Wes.
So lefty Fred Brockbank, 28 years curling, and that includes an 8-year break. 1, 2, everything's moving.
Nice little run back. He got the back one out, which I believe was his intent. He has left the center guard, so Jonathan will try to come around it.
Not only get it out, but he got it out of play as well. It spun its way. So now there's still just the one red there. You can see it turning and turning, and it did get out.
Empty house. 2 guards to work with for Jonathan.
His second shot now.
Lots of room here. Nathan's rocks are not curling as hard as some of the earlier ones. He puts a nice positive handle on that, but here we're getting the finish now.
Jonathan Duguay really needs something to happen here. He's down by 4 in the 4th end.
He's come around. He got a quarter of that rock buried. Wes will try to, he's actually just calling a quiet tap. Wes is just calling back 8-foot weight.
Andrew Ball, we could hear him saying, I can see half to 3/4.
Andrew, like me, I think is a little surprised that he doesn't want to move it right out. Any rock you leave around the back could come back to haunt you later, but Wes is getting very aggressive here again. He's called the quiet weight so that he can get his shooter to the nose. He wants this rock to get right up onto the nose of the yellow one so that he'll be the one that's partially behind the guard.
Kevin Mooney in the blue. Brockbank called off.
And he's certainly thrown a lot more than back 8-foot weight. Great shot.
Just enough to get it out. Great shot.
Paul Garreau will be asked to duplicate that one.
So John Dugay's team has the hammer. They don't have a yellow rock in the house.
They jumped on this right away. Completely different path than
That's going to take out the center
Anders.
guard.
It does look like it's all over the guard.
Not enough, and that's the type of rock, as we said before, that can be a pain.
Yeah, Wes now isn't really sure where he wants to put this. The end looks very good for him right now. He just doesn't want to make it worse. He's trying to decide between coming around the corner
I wondered if
guard.
you're going to take that yellow guard way up there off.
Yeah, and Might not be so bad. He's called a guard, which puzzles me a little bit. It means he's still playing very aggressively. He's going to try to steal. I believe Jonathan will look at that guard as something that he can come around.
Andrew Ball. Just slowly.
It's a little warm. He may bump this guard towards the rings.
Now it's curling away, and so it goes sideways, trying to get it in, no.
Well, that's opened up the shot rock. Jonathan can see it now. He has 2 ways he can roll. See, he's called the roll to the center.
So this is Paul Garreau.
Paul needs to make something here and get himself on track. He's
Got a little
struggled with his last 3 rocks.
struggled is good.
Got to go again. Once again, this rock's curling. They've swept it from the minute it left his hand.
Is it going to get past the center guard? No, no, no.
Sure, right out of Paul's hand, they're sweeping on that. There's something going on. It's not getting a clean release. So
Now you've had an opportunity to play on every one of these sheets over time.
Yep.
Is this a difficult sheet to play on?
Generally, outside sheets are trickier than the middle sheets. The middle sheets get taken better care of. They're generally a little easier. And sometimes it's not just the ice, it's the rocks. If you find bad rocks, they tend to get pushed to the outside sheets as well.
Right.
So 1 and 8 are usually much more of a challenge. But to be fair, our ice here is very good, and I'm trying to remember what sheet we played on this week, but I have no complaints to make about any individual sheet.
And they repebble before each game, don't they?
They do. They do a second pebble, and they nip, and they run the rocks, which takes the rough edge off them. So generally the ice is very good, even in the first end. The one thing I will say out here, usually by the 5th end of late games, the ice can get quite flat in the middle, and it'll get slow and swingy. And you can watch for that late in these 9 o'clock games.
Is it slow and or swingy, or is it both?
Yeah. And it'll usually happen in the middle strip. You won't notice it so much if you go out wide. But
Wes Johnson, by the way, he just threw a rock that I'm not sure exactly what its intention was.
Well, what he's done, he's left Jonathan no chance to roll behind the guard off the rock that's in there. So I don't think it's exactly where he wanted it, but it hasn't done him any harm. So Jonathan's got to decide. Jonathan doesn't have a good place to draw to because of that rock. So I think he feels he's got to hit it. I believe he'll try to hit it and roll completely across the rings behind the corner guard on the other side. He could almost roll all the way to the red rock that's in the back of the rings as you look down on it. But like Paul, Jonathan's just his confidence can't be very high right now. He's thrown some rocks that were not far off, but didn't work out the way he wanted. And sometimes you just need to make a shot or two to get your confidence back. And
well, Jonathan down by 4. He needs to get something. He really would. He needs 2.
He does
he
need
needs
2, but it's going to be
blank. He needs 2 or blank.
There's no setup here for a 2 without a miss from West. So he just has to make sure he doesn't give up anything more.
He's sliding in. He's coming. He's going to take this one.
He's going to get. Well, once again, nothing. They're. And I don't know if you can see his face, but he's perplexed. He thought that was okay most of the way down. They're just not doing what Jonathan and Paul think they're going to do. They're struggling to put the broom in the right place.
So Wes right now has 2 in. He's going to he's going to try to set one just about on the 12-foot, almost on the center line.
That's right.
And
make Jonathan's draw
make
tough.
Jonathan just make it a little more difficult. And, you know, that is going to be an interesting shot, that last shot, because he's got 2 guards out there, a red one.
That's right.
And then he's got that one that just made the hog, which could be his.
And if West gets this in deep enough, I'm not sure where Jonathan goes to get around it, because there's a high yellow corner guard that's going to impede his progress.
That's the one that we were talking.
If West can put this just biting the top of the 8-foot right on the center line, Jonathan's going to have very little room.
He wants to be in, but he doesn't want to come over center.
And he doesn't want to be so deep that Jonathan can hit it on the nose and get shot.
Well,
so he's got the depth is perfect. Well,
no, he's coming just well. He's
Yeah, it may have gone a little farther, but it has curled enough that Jonathan thinks he can draw around it. So
well, Jonathan needs to do this just to get one.
Yeah.
He's down by a score of 6-2 right now, and
Jonathan needs to make this, and Kojiko needs him to make it, because if he misses this one, they may be taking their gloves off very early. It would be a 9-2 game if this draw misses.
if he misses this, that's right. Is there pressure on television? they were joking with us beforehand. I can't imagine.
Well, I you can tell he's frustrated. You know, you get a chance to play on TV, you want to do your best. You want to watch yourself later.
We're at the Oakville Curling Club on Reynolds and Allen Streets, and not far from the downtown of Oakville. An old traditional building is this.
Mike got on that pretty early. He wants to sweep this. He's a little worried about the weight. They need it to curl off the guard. Now they're okay for line. They've got to get it on the button.
And they're going to just walk it right in and hopefully
like
try.
We'll
you know
play
what?
a little more.
They're playing a little game here to get it, trying to get it onto the pin.
Once again, Jonathan has Mike and Nathan, wonderful judges of sweeping. And,
A 1 point now for Jonathan Duguay on the yellow, and that'll mean after 4 ends that he still is behind by a score of 6-3.
Well, we have a minute. I was asked to mention the Oakville Curling Club hosts the Sportsman's Bonspiel here in January, 25th, 26th, and 27th. There are some openings. If you wanted to get your team into that Bonspiel, contact the office at the Oakville Curling Club. Here you see how long they had to wait on that. They had to make sure it curled off the yellow rock. Mike wanted to sweep it.
And that was the rock that they fought like the Dickens to get across the line.
That's right.
And there it goes right there. Not quite to the cap, but good enough.
So down 3 without last rock, Jonathan is thinking one thing only. Now they need to steal, and they steal, and they steal again.
Mike Shea, you got to lay it out and try to take advantage of the free guard zone.
Mike has to put this in front of the house. And
do you believe that a guard in this free guard zone is better if it were more corner than center?
It depends sometimes on the ice, sometimes on the situation. In this situation now where Jonathan needs to steal, the perfect guard you'd feel is closer to the ring. The tighter it is to the rings, the less room the other guy has.
Is that, you want it closer than that?
In a normal game, I'd say yes, but tonight, with them being so far behind, he's going to want double guards. Yeah, he probably would want that one closer so that the second guard would be higher.
That's easy to
go
around.
You have more room to get around them when they're high. And again, on a night where it was a tie game and you're looking for the big steals, at this point, Jonathan's going to need some misses out of Wes and his team in order to get back into this.
Kevin Mooney, and I'm not sure exactly if what he meant Kevin to do.
I don't know if it picked. He called for him to come around that, and it just went sideways. I didn't see if
maybe
it picked.
Maybe a pick, yeah. And we haven't seen too many picks, at least not that we've recognized tonight.
Nope. No, as I mentioned last time, though, if we're going to see them, this is when we'll start to see them. Late in the 9 o'clock draw, later on, it can start to get a little flat. So Jonathan's coming in now on Mike's shot. The line's perfect here. See how deep it goes.
Shea gets it by the guard, and he's going to bring it in, and
that's what you'd like from your lead. It's buried, and Wes cannot remove that guard yet, so he's got to find something else to do.
In front of the tee line. Wes can remove that guard, that shot.
All right, so Wes has called for a quiet tap. It has to be quiet because if he hits the guard and removes it, it goes back. So he's hoping that by throwing hack or backboard weight, if he hits the guard, it will not go all the way out, and therefore it's okay.
That's Kevin Mooney again.
I don't know if you saw, Kevin did a hitch in his delivery. I think he felt something under the rock. He completely pulled it back and then pushed it. This was not his normal delivery. Takeout. It's so important now that he keeps the shooter in the rings, doesn't remove that guard. They need that guard there. They're not going to be able to steal before the end. But he also can't leave a red rock in that good of a position. He's going to get a piece, but the shooter's going to roll a little far, and I think you might see Wes go out and remove that center guard now. We'll see if he wants to attack or play defense.
The last thing in the world you want to do is that. It's just a little bit too much.
Yeah, and you'll see now Wes recognizes that center guard is the rock that could cost him, and he's gone out to to play the peel.
He wouldn't mind getting them all, would he?
Nope, and that's the added bonus. He could get that red out of the back of the rings, too.
So here comes Fred Brockbank. Young Fred.
He's not going to get the second
There's
yellow.
the one,
but
he got him. Well, instead of 2 out there's only 1, and that's exactly what he really wanted. You can't ask for much better.
Yeah, he didn't like it hitting the other red guard because it's come a little closer to center, and that's the one that John's now going to try to go around.
So watch it here. This is the shot.
Yeah.
1, 2.
He has left the red guard slightly closer to the center than it used to be, but he did remove the dangerous yellow guard.
And so Nathan Small now will try to go around that with an in-turn.
And this is already over-curled. It's spinning pretty hard, too. I think that may have picked. So we see the difficulties with the ice.
Slowed right down now. This means that really you've got to sweep the whole way.
So Wes is now going to get aggressive. He feels those rocks are far enough off the line. He's going to ask Fred to come around them.
So the lefty, with Mooney and Ball doing the sweeping. By the way, Fred does participate in the left-hand tournaments because, of course, he can.
They're all out here sweeping this one now. They do not want this to be short.
There's the boss, Wes Johnson. Watching, it's going to get by the red. No.
It's not. There's a big break for Duguay. See if they can take advantage now.
So John Duguay now with telling Paul Garreau where he wants it.
Well, we certainly know there'll be no trouble burying it here. They just have to find the right weight.
We mentioned the fact that this is the A level of the.
A little unusual. Jonathan called the sweep early, which usually means he's narrow, and this is not narrow. It's nowhere near the guard. Mike and Nathan were not going to sweep it.
Is he going to go right through here?
The way that Jonathan yelled, I think Paul must have been sliding narrow, but maybe he gave it a little push as he let it go. So Wes now has 2 rocks. He's facing 2, but they're both wide open and in the back of the rings, and he's got a decision. And again, the situation, the scoreboard dictates this call. In a close game, he'd be drawing around that center guard.
Knock one out?
Well, that's what I was saying. In a close game, he'd draw for sure. In this case, he's just thinking about eliminating the other team's rocks.
Up weight, knock it out. There
Yeah,
it is
he's
now.
trying to get both yellows here.
Yeah, he'd like to get them now.
Yeah.
So this is Andrew Ball now.
No sweep yet. They need it to curl a bit. He's very close.
Big
And he got
shot, big shot.
So that was a very defensive call. He eliminated the yellow rocks, so there's no chance of big end. He did, however, leave the center guard, which gives Jonathan a chance to come around again. See if we can see what Paul's doing here. His
Johnson has the hammer, so it's.
Yeah, he's just going to react to wherever Jonathan puts it. And that center guard is so close to the rings, I think he believes that even if they get behind it, he can drive it straight back onto them. Once again, Paul's rock not behaving like everybody else's we've seen. Here it comes.
It takes a long time, doesn't it?
Yeah, although this one is finishing nicely. I mean, the last time we came down here, Wes's team put
right on the peak.
3 rocks right down there, and that's a great shot.
So there's a great one.
Now, because it's gone just behind the tee line, Wes feels he can draw to it.
Garreau, that was Garreau's shot, and now it's going to be Andrew Ball, his second.
So rather than run the center guard back, he's switching. His last call was quite defensive. Now he's getting aggressive again. He's going to ask him to draw into the lid. Whoa early indicates that there's a lot of room. Watch the sweepers. It's going to be very weight sensitive here.
Lots of turn to this.
Yeah. This is all for the weight now. He's comfortably by the guard. Can they get it there for shot? Afraid not. Bit of a sweeping mistake.
Close.
It's very close, but the sweepers, Wes is the one who told them it was wide, and they needed to let him know that it was just a little bit short. And we've seen those guys carry a rock a long way. They certainly could have taken it 6 more inches.
So Duguay could really make it interesting with a steal of 1 or 2 here.
Yeah, he has enough ends left that if he steals one every end, he wins the game.
Here he is now.
He's trying to draw. He wants to curl slightly more than Andrew's rock did.
We will say that yellow. You can see that yellow is shot.
Jonathan's trying to draw to an extremely small area here now. He wants to be exactly to the red, but he has to cross the face, because if he stays high, then Wes Johnson will use his own rock against him.
Where does he want to actually end up?
He wants to cross the red one, so he'd like to be touching the red one, but across the nose of it. So he needs a lot of curl at the end so that the rocks are staggered.
Trying to get a top 12 again.
Well, there you go now.
Top 12, he said now. He's changed the curl.
Is he trying to steal one?
Oh, he definitely is. He's trying to protect the one in the back. But if he leaves it in the open, Wes is just going to run the yellow onto his own red.
Right. So try to.
So he wanted that to curl a lot more. Now they've just left it high because it didn't curl.
So that was plan B.
Yep. The Wes will be running one of those rocks back, either the yellow or the red one. The angle's better on the yellow one, but of course when you raise the other team's rocks, that's the one that you need to get out of the rings.
So you're Wes, you've got red rocks, you've got you're lying second, third.
Yep.
And
so if he runs his own rock in, he doesn't mind leaving it around.
yeah, that's right. Do you care if you run one of yours out, as long as
you don't mind that. It's just the angle isn't as good. Running his own, he has to hit it across.
He was part of the Ontario Tankard in 2007 as a vice or a third.
In fact, I believe there's some banners hanging on the far wall with Wes Angel. Well, he's actually trying to go between them. Look at that. Little tick-tick. He got both guards and almost spun into the rock on the top of the button. And that is what he was calling, so we were wrong on both counts. He tried. That's exactly what he tried. He just hoped it would slide straight back once it made the double hit.
So now it works. Now you've got Duguay.
Yeah, with his last rock here, he's just got to guard that, and the difficulty now is he can't guard the raise on the red and the pick out of the yellow.
Yeah.
So
look at him. Everything flew. And actually, that red one came very close to getting that yellow.
It did.
So Duguay has yellow. He has one right now, but he doesn't have last rock.
No. So he's going to try to.
The little guy Garreau is holding the stick. So the lefty.
No matter what, Wes is going to have a shot here. He's just going to try to make it as difficult as he can for him.
Line's good.
The out turn. You hear line's good. Is he just setting up a guard?
Well, it's not curling yet. They're waiting and waiting. They're going to go at the end and try to get as much curl out of these last 8 feet as they can.
All right, boys.
So I believe they've taken the tap away, and what they've left is the pick out on the yellow one.
Right.
Or he could play the yellow onto the red. But he may be able to play shot rock directly. About half of that is sticking out. And since he's already second and third,
he doesn't care if he takes. He won't even care if he takes the one out to the back too.
Yeah, it's probably just for one. It would be hard to get it through there. That's what he's looking at. Can he get enough of that yellow one? I don't believe he can get it on the out turn, so he has to throw an in turn, which would be curling away from a better angle.
This is as fine curling as you'll see. But there have been mistakes, and I think that you recognize that. There have been mistakes here tonight.
Yeah, I think Paul and Jonathan would be very disappointed with the way they played the third and the fourth ends.
And in fact, reading the ice has been an issue.
But they, So Wes has taken almost no ice here at all. He's going to be throwing this one pretty hard, I would say. Yep, so he's going to throw an out turn, which will have to be very straight. I presume this is going to be moving fast. He's trying to pick the yellow one out clean. Very difficult shot. Wait. Oh, he's close. When you get that, yeah, whoa. I believe he's got it. What a great shot.
Great shot. And we talked about the fact that he might hit that back red one, but he didn't care because he picks up one other one, and that will now make it 7-3 after 5 ends. And we are going to take a break for a moment, and we will be back here at the Oakville Curling Club. Been a great match, an A-division match between two great teams. And right now, Wes Johnson, who has some pretty significant credentials, junior nationals in 2004 for Ontario. He was a third. He was also in the Ontario Tag in 2007. It is he that is skipping and leading right now. Just picked up one, and he's leading now by a score of 7-3. And the work is cut out for Jonathan Duguay, who now has the hammer, and he has the yellow. And this is Mike Shea, who is now taking his first shot of this 6th end.
Well, that was such a great shot West threw last end. What a difference. Instead of the game being 6-4, it's 7-3. It's so now Jonathan's got that four-point deficit again to overcome. With last rock, he'll certainly needs to score 2, and he'd certainly like to score 3.
Now there's the question. Now I said to you, which is better, center guard, corner guard? Well, because a shot was laid in there by Kevin Mooney in the center, that now necessitates the corner guard.
That's right. And normally with last rock, you like your center guards because the idea being you keep the 4-foot clean for your skip's last shot.
Right. And
without last rock, you want to clutter the middle so that the advantage of having the last shot is negated. You talked about Wes playing in the juniors in 2004. The Ontario provincials that got him to the nationals were held right here. There's a couple of banners over sheet 4 and 6 that have been up here ever since then. And I don't know if they can find it, but Wes's name and his team's name are on those banners somewhere. The kids all signed them when they were done. So his moment of glory came right here at his home club.
There's another guy that's won some awards in university. That was Andrew Ball in the red.
Andrew, also a product of the junior programs in the Halton region. He was from Burlington. We take a lot of pride in some of the juniors that have come through here over the years. We've had some wonderful junior programs here. They're quite busy in the weekend mornings.
How many curling clubs are there actually in Oakville?
In Oakville, there's just the one.
Okay.
Burlington, there are 2.
Yeah, there's the golf
Milton
one.
Club.
Golf.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they're thriving. Whereas, unfortunately, in downtown Toronto, the number of clubs has been reduced. Out here in Oakville, we have a very, very busy club, very popular club. The men's nights, the women's nights are all booked. Mixed curling runs all weekend.
This is Fred Brockbank, by the way. 2 reds in the house, 2 guards set up by Duguay.
You see
both corner guards, and Brockbank is going to try to clear one, and he's going to get out of the way and not going to be a problem on the other side.
A very normal looking house for a team that's behind. It had the 2 corner guards, and the team without last rock put 2 of them right in the middle.
Just put the pressure on.
Yep. And that with free guard curling, you see that set up a lot. And now Fred got one of the guards, but he's rolled over, and they have a double corner guard on that side now, which is really what you want. And now Jonathan's decision is, do you come around the corner guard right away, or do you start playing in the middle? He's chosen to play in the middle. The 2 red rocks that are shot, they look very nice there, but it is not a difficult double to make.
No.
So Jonathan looks at that and says, that if you leave me that on my last shot, I'd love to have a bunch of biters, and I'll make that double at the end for the 2 or 3.
So where is he going now? Is he going to come in on these?
He's indicated to come in front of them. So now what he's going to try to do is use Wes's rocks against Wes. He'll try to tap the top one and put it beside the other one so that there's a double barrier there that Wes will need to push the by.
Now, there are times, of course, when you'd rather have the rocks in the house a little deeper. They're catchers, but they're a little deeper.
So that didn't work out the way Jonathan would have liked. He wanted a little more curl and push the red one a little further back. Hasn't changed much. Now Wes is trying to decide if he should peel guards or come and pick this rock out of the
Yeah,
range.
he's going to go after the guards. He's had enough. But watch this one come in.
He's trying to decide.
And he wanted to get the second one.
Yeah. I think he's decided to remove the rock they just threw.
Hello, everybody, and Don McMillan, and we have Dave Sykes with us, and Dave, of course, is a member here and does a fair bit of curling, and I love the game, and
well, it's a great pastime. You can do it, as we've seen these guys start at 6 or 7 years old, and you talked about Fred's father at 92 still out here.
93, yeah, his grandfather at 93.
So
now that's a great shot. He got rid of all of them.
That is, Wes will be very glad that he made that decision now. So if you're Jonathan, you look at this and you say, how do I score 2 or 3 points? Now there's nowhere to hide. And so he's asking for a corner guard again.
Going to put it back again. So he's asking for Nathan Small to...
And because of the ability for curlers nowadays to throw big weight and get 2 or 3 rocks out at a time, I mean, Jonathan's thinking about trying to draw into that pocket, but with 4 rocks together like that, they could all go in one shot.
You could see that on that replay, how they just all of a sudden just disappeared.
Give credit to Fred. He's had a very solid game. That was a really nice double peel.
So I'm sure after the game they'll come up to us and want to know what we thought. Well, we will be here. Actually, we will be on. It is our intention, other than around the Christmas time, that we will be bringing you some coverage from the Oakville Curling Club on an ongoing basis every week, and as long as we can.
Yeah, well, we're very happy to have you here.
And we're going to be doing some tweaking and some fine-tuning.
This one might be over curling.
It's going straight through.
That's what Jonathan was hoping for. So now he's got the rocks in the ring and a corner guard, and now he'll place something in the middle, or he may go around the corner guard now.
When is a corner guard useless? How far out? That's
well, it would have to be. It would be useless if it was so far that you can't get a piece of the rings behind it.
Right. Yeah.
But,
yeah. Is he okay with that?
Oh, that's a perfect spot for him.
Maybe our camera can just pick that up from the.
You see him here, and so now what he's thinking is he'll go around the corner guard now.
There is that corner guard there. It's out. It's out quite a bit, quite a ways.
So he'll try to use it, even though it'll only be 4th shot. And the thinking, as we said earlier, those 2 red ones are sitting there waiting for a double. So if Wes, trying to get the one behind the corner guard, ticks the guard, then he'd go and play the double, and he'd sit 3. And that's how quickly it can turn around in curling these days, too. But very important for them to get this in the rings and partially behind the guard. It's starting to curl again.
Paul Garreau.
And
this is such a tough area. It's going to hit the...
I don't know if Paul's got a bad rock or what, but they haven't been close on his shots.
Yeah.
And I don't understand it. He's too good of a curler for that.
Well, they have another corner guard.
They do. But they had their chance to get around. The one they wrecked is no longer a useful guard, and I think we'll see Wes run this yellow one off.
So he's going to get Andrew Ball to just knock it away. There you can see what's going on. You can see that red has 2 in, yellow 1. I'm not sure which. I guess that both of the reds are first 1 and 2. Yellow is 3.
This will be the last peel Wes throws this in. So if they make this peel, Jonathan won't go throw another guard, or Wes will come in and knock that yellow one out.
Fred Rockbank trying to get that away.
So although he peeled the one guard, it really hasn't changed much. It's left the second guard.
So now what do you do?
Well, now he's called a freeze into this pocket.
So you got 3. You got 3 rocks left. That's all you've got left.
So he wants to. He's going to freeze right into that pocket there.
You need 3.
Well, at this point, I think he's hoping for 2. He would have liked 3 before the end started. It's going to be very hard to get 3 because that one rock that's in there now is going to be easy to remove for Wes.
Paul Gros again.
Change turns on him, which of course affects your weight a little bit. The guys jumped on this right away. They must think he needs it. The line certainly looks good.
Well, they're keeping it clean, and that's what they got to do. Here they go.
Looks like a great shot.
They're bringing it in. They want it to be right on. That's almost perfect within
just
an
what
inch.
the doctor ordered.
Yep.
That rock could not be removed with a megaton bomb.
Right.
Unless you let him throw it from this end. Now, the other yellow will go, of course. Anything that hits the top yellow will remove one of the yellows.
So Wes Johnson, he didn't care if he loses his red.
No, he can't get both yellows out, but he certainly wants to get rid of one of them. Although now Andrew's teasing him by saying, what if we draw?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and they are going to draw. So he's throwing a guard on this. He sort of said, okay, Jonathan, how are you going to get my 2 red ones out of there now?
So strategy, of course, is crucial, and planning is crucial, but playing and playing and playing and playing in tough positions.
Yep.
And that's where you learn, really.
Well, it is, and the thing about free guard curling is you see so many more ends like this, and there's more decisions to be made, and when do you get aggressive, when you get defensive. And at the very highest levels, when you get the Glenn Howards and the Martins and the Coeys, they can make so many more shots that these sort of decisions can cost you. I think this is a smart move by West, throwing the guard. Don't do the work for Jonathan. But
he wants it almost on center, just a little over centered. He's got it.
Now what he's done with that now is that Jonathan cannot hit the one that he just threw back onto the reds. So now he has to figure out how to get the reds out of there. He's got the chance he wanted.
He can certainly hit the one.
Yeah.
If you're looking at it on the right.
Yeah, he can hit that half rock and he'd remove the shot rock. The other red would stay there, and I don't think he can save his shooter, unfortunately. If he could do that, that'd be a great shot. Leave red with 1, but leave yellow with 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, and then there'd be a lot of pressure on West to do something. But it's very difficult to remove that red and save the shooter. So
Wes Johnson, who is throwing the red, has 2 in. He also has a lead of 7-3, but it is yellow with the hammer here in the 6th in the 6th end. Clock is becoming an issue. A lot of the games have wrapped up, I assume some of the games have wrapped up, I assume by handshake.
yes, interesting enough, half the games are gone. As we look across, I hadn't noticed, but
there's 8 rinks
games
here. There you see the clock winding down, and when it hits, and that's in case the clock above it is actually what time it is.
That's right.
Now.
That's our time, and the one below it is the countdown. And when that buzzer goes, the end you're on becomes your last end. See Jonathan and Paul looking. I think they're hoping to see something that has escaped them so far. But
right now, timing would indicate that they do have a chance to play 8 ends.
yeah, it'll be awful tough now, though.
Right.
In 27 minutes, you don't normally get 2 more ends in. Well, actually, oh no, we're only in the 6th already, right?
Yeah,
oh yeah, no, they have plenty of time to play 8.
Yeah. They're having a real discussion about this now. This is really probably the most crucial end they've had yet.
Yeah, he has to score 2 here, or he's going to be in big trouble. And
they won't be playing 8.
And no, and it honestly, the way it's set up, he does not have a good chance even to score 1 at this point. So he's trying to set this. He wants to use this first shot to set up his second shot. So it's a matter. He needs to move things around a little bit, and he needs to leave himself an option that West can't remove both options.
So Paul Gros is going to be holding the stick. Has been curling since he was 8 years old, and this team won the Chinguacousy men's wind-up in April this year, and he's curled in 4 Ontario Curling Association provincial events. he's been a member of the Oakville Curling Club for, well, as he said, 8 of the past 10 years. Spent 2 in Etobicoke. Recently moved to Burlington, so he's back here playing in Oakville again. So, but he's been, and you know, he's home sometimes. He has 4 children.
Yeah, here's Jonathan trying to hit that little piece of red that he can see. They jumped on this right away. He's throwing it fairly quietly. And he must be on the yellow one now, the way they got off that. So he's going to move these yellows around. Question is, will he give himself an angle at anything? And that actually has given him a shot.
Well, now if you're Wes, what do? Do you take a break
well,
because you got
Wes is going to hit the third shot. Yeah, if Wes hits this yellow that they're tapping right there and stays right there, then even if Jonathan makes that little double, it's only going to be for 1 point. If he rolls in, he'd have to be careful that he doesn't give him some sort of an angle to score more. I'm not sure if we can see the overhead again, but those 2 reds will both go if Jonathan hits the yellow, the furthest left yellow you can see.
Just stay with that, Joe, for a minute. So what I'm looking at, so the one on the right, as we're looking at it now where the brush is, if he comes down and just hits and stays, then if the double that would be taken by Duguay, he could take that out, but he'd only be picking up 1 because the other.
If Wes rolls away here, Jonathan will have a chance to score more than 1. If he can sit in there, and as long as he doesn't roll it to some funny spot where there's a strange triple, then he's in good shape.
So this is Dugay's. This is Johnson's last shot. Crucial shot. He's got
This is that straight piece of ice we've seen before. He took a lot of ice, and they haven't touched it. I don't believe he's going to get anywhere near the nose.
Well, now he's starting to turn, but he's got to.
Look at that. And that ran dead straight. And now Jonathan Duguay, out of nothing, has a chance for 3.
Well, you know what? There's one other thing, though, that now, because there's that yellow one at the back, there's maybe a catcher now.
Well, yes, that is true.
Depending on where he hits that. If they go straight sideways.
His best shot here is what Paul just indicated, that top yellow one, the one Paul's topping right there, onto the 2 reds.
Right.
Both reds will have enough momentum to go out of the rings. As you say, it could catch on that back yellow, though.
Okay, so just take a look now at overhead right now and just find out exactly. They're having a discussion now. So the fact that what they would do is they wouldn't hit the one straight on into the crotch. Well, now they're talking about it.
They're looking at, but I don't think he can get to the nose of that because there is a guard up front.
So if he hits the one to the
the one he's pointing at gives him a much better angle. Right. His shooter will never stay, so the one he throws will roll out of the rings. But that yellow that he hits will go into the 2 reds and stay there, and the 2 reds will split. The one red goes out for sure. The other red will spin towards this back yellow one. And the question is, where does it go? So
he's thinking that if he takes that, well, you know, that may be a catcher, but it may those 2. Yeah. If he hits it right in the crotch, they both go sideways, or more sideways than.
Yeah, he's again looking because the straight back yellow will not come anywhere near the back one. It's a very difficult. Those straight back double, though, he has to hit both reds simultaneously.
This is all set up because Wes Johnson on the shot you just saw in the replay, he just he didn't stick around.
No, and just we've seen it on that side of the ice all night, very straight, and it fools them. Wes hasn't come close to missing a shot all night, and all of a sudden a wide open takeout.
You've got that red guard, which is on the opposite side of the. But he's going to have an awful time getting nose on this.
He's decided he wants to play the straight back. I guess he thinks the other one will park. Now, this is for 4. This isn't just for 3. This is for 4.
If he stays, that's right.
So that may be the other reason he's trying this. It's much more difficult to get both reds out with this shot, though.
This could actually tie this game at 7 if this thing works. Or
it could be Velcro time, as they say. The gloves come off. I think this is the more difficult shot, but it's for an extra point.
Okay, so he's going to come down, hit it right in, try to get it in the crotch. He's got to get past the guard. The guard is right on the line.
They're working hard. He's very
line.
close.
He's off the line. He's good.
Very close.
Got by it. There's one and there's 2.
They got to sweep that. What a shot. Will it go far enough? He got 3 for sure.
He got 3. He doesn't have the 4th one. I
don't know about the 4th. What a great shot.
The one in the top right is...
and we're going to watch another couple ends of curling.
So all of a sudden, here we go. Watch it here now, just by there.
What a wonderful shot.
Watch
Paul
watch the sweeping. Sweep,
He got
sweep,
all over
sweep.
that.
Paul Garreau just fighting and fighting to get that to go, but it wouldn't go. So they picked up 3. So now it is 8-7.
And I can
7
promise
to
you
7
Paul's
to
teammates are reminding him that if he had swept that a little harder, they would have got 4.
It's actually 7-6.
7-6.
7-6.
And now we've got a battle. Now, and once again, an end that looked like it was completely decided one way turns around completely. They did the
With
same thing
one shot
yeah.
misses, and now
I'm
this
missing
is
a great shot after it.
Mike Shea.
Don't take anything away from Jonathan. That was
No.
an extremely hard shot, and he threw a beauty.
He almost just papered that.
Yeah.
There wasn't room for your finger there. So Mike Shea going down. They're down by 1. Now they have a chance. You can always steal 2, can't you? You can
Well, at this point, they steal one, steal one.
give one.
They don't need a 2.
Give 1. And get 3.
Right. And that is the other thing they have to consider here. You want to steal this end, but you don't want to go so crazy about it that you give up a 2.
Mm-hmm.
Because now you're back in the game, and as you say, you could give him 1 and still come home with the hammer and at least face a tie, and 3 would win it.
They haven't put it up on the board yet, but we know it is 7-6. There it is, and
Thing to watch for now here in the last 2 ends is whether or not the ice changes, as it sometimes does on the late draws. And that's a perfect come around.
now changing means number 1 is you're losing pebble.
Yeah, as the pebble gets flatter, it could behave differently. Generally, it would be slower and a little more curl.
Can the pebble break and be a pick, cause a pick?
The ice itself wouldn't, but when what happens, there's always a little bit of debris on the ice,
Yeah.
and the pebble on the ice, the debris normally gets in between the pebbles. It just rolls down to the low, and the running surface of the rock never touches it.
So now we got Mike Shea now to got the 2 rocks down at the far end set up in an eye.
Mike wants this one in between those 2 rocks.
Well, Dugay's got himself back into this game.
You heard Jonathan say go around it now. They changed the plan.
Plan
Mike
B.
was a touch heavy.
Putting on the brakes, and
Just a little
Wes
too
Johnson couldn't get it to go, but he's certainly well back of the tee line.
far. Wes will use that rock now. His first thought was to drive it out. Now he's changed his mind. He's going to drive it to the corner. At this point now, Wes is waiting for the free guard period to be over so he can run that center guard off. Now he's changed his mind again.
Wes wants he wants 2 right now. He wants 2 in this end.
Well, he's certainly going to draw down that back one. I still wouldn't be surprised to see him go peel the guard on the next one, no matter what happens.
Kevin Mooney
Yeah, I gotta go.
with Brock Bankin ball sweeping.
You hear them say they had to go. Indication that it's curling.
Hard to get by.
Got by the long guard, but can he get by his own? Not quite. Oh, and that's a little deep now, too.
So now there's a double catcher back there. Jonathan trying to bring that back.
So now let's see what Jonathan wants to do. No, he still wants it in front of that top red. At this point, he's still fighting to get that best position at the top of the rings.
So the best place to be would be in the 12-foot.
Well, and that's why the first rock from Kevin was so important. Kevin put it in a perfect spot. It's high enough up there that when Jonathan's in front of it, it's so far from the button. So that's what's making this decision hard for Jonathan. He wants to be in front of it, but in front of it is only in the 12-foot. So now they're going down to the back one, too.
And they take the red one out. 2 yellows. Deep.
Yeah, and now you see Wes feels those rocks in the back of the ring aren't a threat to him. He'll now take the guard off.
They are not a threat to him.
That's what he feels. They're in the back. He can draw to them anytime he wants.
And he has the
last
hammer.
rock. That's right. So the guard is a bigger worry for him than 2 rocks in the back of the house.
So he's
he'll peel.
called Fred Brockbank to take it out.
Fred has made these all night. He's peeled beautifully tonight. And there he does it again. So now if this was the very end, Jonathan would have to hit that and make Wes draw. So now, for the third time in a row, he's going to try to draw on top of that red one. Let's see if,
So Nathan
if
Small,
Nathan has more luck than Mike did.
they're coming in from the left side. More success on that side.
Well, earlier in the game, these ones were curling like crazy. All of a sudden, Mike's two rocks did not. Now, he was a little heavy. They didn't curl over as much. Remember, when Wes's team came down here, they kept swooping the rocks into that spot.
Yep. Yes!
Jonathan wants it swept. I believe he's changed his call again. He's trying to go by it.
Well, he didn't quite, but maybe did he call it too late, or did it start?
Well,
it
yeah,
should start
the
moving?
original call was to freeze, so he was playing, hoping the weight was okay. Once the guys told him it wasn't going to stop, he decided to try to go by it. Now, all three of those yellows could go here. If
So see what Fred does.
Fred could completely change this end around.
Yep.
Sweeping call. It is
Just-
starting to go.
Just to be off a little.
Yep, that's over curled on him.
So he's got one and he rolls, so still two remaining.
Yellow sits one, but it's in that vulnerable back of the ring spot. Jonathan's going to change. Now he says, let's get rid of it, which is probably a good call. As we said, it's just an awful spot for Jonathan. That rock ruins every plan he can come up with. So now they're going to hit it, sit three.
So Garreau,
Right away. This first rock of Paul's has not done what they wanted all night. See
if it curls now. It's still off.
an early sweeping call and then an off. And I think it's going to roll too far.
And he's going to roll out. And again, if you look back on it, that's been Dugay's problems. That he hasn't stuck around as often as he wanted to.
So Wes will be very happy with the way this is shaping up. He can play for either a blank or he's now going to hit this and roll in front of the other one and put the tough decision to Jonathan, whether or not he wants to get aggressive for his steal or if try to hold Wes to one.
I'd rather get two if I were West than blanket.
Well, he'd certainly like to have two, but he's not willing to get aggressive here and start playing draws that could force him to take one.
Right.
So he'll try to get his two by doing exactly this, a hit and a roll in front, and then
Great shot.
That is
Great
a great
shot.
one. And the other thing that might work towards West getting his two is that Jonathan's going to be forced to get aggressive, and you maybe makes a mistake at the end, trying a shot that's maybe a little too difficult.
There it is right there, and just rolls perfectly in
Yeah.
front. And so Garreau now will, what's he going to do?
He's trying to freeze to that red one. He can be now in the 4-foot, frozen on the red one, and make it difficult for West to get it out. Probably the most difficult shot in curling, though, is dead freeze. You've got to have perfect line and perfect weight. If you're off center by an inch, even, these guys can blast them out of there. They
Yeah,
throw
and
hard
the
one
bounce.
so well.
The bounce
Yeah.
kills you.
So you can't.
There's a great shot. Great shot.
Close to
Now
perfect,
again, it
but
was just a little.
Yep.
Now you're going to do. Are you doing a pick here?
Wes is probably going to try to get both yellows here. He'll try to run it just past his red one. He wouldn't be unhappy to lose all of those back ones.
Andrew Ball. He's had a good game, Andrew Ball.
Yeah, Wes's whole team's played very well. I think he's got both yellows.
He does indeed. What a great shot, and the red stays.
And now Jonathan's pretty much, he can either completely bail and let Wes blank by running the double, or he has to try the freeze, and it looks like he's going to bail out here and play the double. So at this point, he sort of said, Wes, you can have your blank, and we'll play one more end and try to steal it.
And that, to me, it would make more sense for Duguay than it would for. I'd rather be up by two, or possibly three, but I'd rather be up by two without the hammer. Sometimes up by one with the hammer.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I'm 99.9% sure Wes would take the blank if he can, rather than
Right.
faced with the option of taking one and coming home up two.
right.
Close. Close. Yep.
So I think he's
Duguay.
got his double here.
Whoa.
But one proved.
There we go.
Two great double takeouts here in this end.
And
What's crucial too is the fact that they stayed.
Yeah. And that's what happens. You get ends where you think, wow, there's a lot of rocks in play, and then all of a sudden the blank comes back. And that's what these top-level curlers can do. A house full of rocks can turn into a blank end quickly, and that's why the guards are so important, and why Wes was smart to go out and peel that guard once Jonathan's guys rolled out and gave him the chance. So Wes will want to hit and stick here, make Jonathan's job a little more difficult.
So we're down now with a clock of about 10 minutes.
He's hit this straight spot again. This is
Is he going to miss this again?
I think he's got a piece, but that's not...
Gee, he just made that. That was really tight.
Yeah.
That's twice now he's had problems on that
missed
side.
the one coming this way, and sometimes you get a big lead, and it's hard to stay focused, and you see it in a lot of sports teams.
Watch it. Just touched it.
Wes made everything all night, but then he got ahead, and all of a sudden...
He doesn't have a big lead.
Well, not anymore.
No.
The big lead is gone, and but he was a little casual last end and let him back in. Jonathan will try to put this anywhere he thinks Wes might have trouble hitting and rolling out. Guys are off and on. I'd be very surprised if this isn't in the ring somewhere.
Yeah, they're just sitting there watching it go. That's
They don't look concerned at all.
Mike Shea leading. And
now Wes will try the same shot he just threw. He'd like to hit and roll out. Just might be in the back of his mind that he's missed one here and almost missed one. And then you see if sometimes you get a little careful and you end up on the nose.
So a nose hit, and he leads by 2 going into the last end. And
he would prefer to roll out, though. He's not trying the nose hit here.
And then failing that, he'll have
he doesn't want to miss it. That's the one thing he doesn't want to do.
Have a lead of 1.
Nice balanced delivery. They're on and then off. He's on the nose.
Now he hits the nose. There was the line. You could just hear that. He didn't want to do that.
No, and that's the result of the last 2 rocks he threw down there being so straight that I think he got careful with it and he played with it a little bit.
He picks up one. So now it's after 7 ends. It's now 9-7.
8-6.
8-6. That's what I said. We're two apart. There it is. Yeah, they just put it up there now. 8-6 is the score, and so it's going to be Mooney who will shut. This will be the last end. Mooney is.
He's throwing the first one through. Wes made his mind up right away with the 2-point lead. He's not going to give Jonathan anything to create a 2 with. One of the toughest things to do nowadays, though, is protect those leads, because his next rock he's going to have to throw through as well.
So Mike Shea will put up a guard somewhere.
He's asked for the corner guard on the wall side.
See how much of a curl he gets on this, because he came out on the left side of the center line.
Mike threw this guard down here a few ends ago. Remember how hard they had to work just to get it over the hog line? This one's much deeper. Not curling as hard to the wall as you might think.
No, it wouldn't. That was probably about maybe 2.5 feet.
Yeah. Considering how straight it's been going the other way, I thought that one might curl a little more.
So Mooney is going to fire it right through to us again.
Easy end for Kevin.
Oh, he's got to still sweep, though.
Yep. Yeah, I never liked that as a lead either. You always want to throw your rocks.
Yeah.
And,
well,
it's a strategical ploy. It makes more sense.
This is a team game.
But in a perfect world now, Jonathan has his 2. He's going to have 2 corner guards up, and Wes will peel them. And if he gets in behind one of them perfectly, then he's going to have a shot for 2 to tie the game.
And Wes doesn't care if he gets 1.
That's right.
And Wes doesn't have last shot.
But depending on how it unfolds, sometimes in doing that, you end up giving them a chance for 3.
Yes.
It doesn't take much of a miss. So now the other thing you have to be careful of at the highest levels, though, is keeping these guards even.
Yeah, because you don't want to set up a double. And that's perfect. Those are perfect.
That is perfect.
Side by side and enough between them. So this will be Fred now, Fred Brockbank.
And Fred, we mentioned earlier, has peeled perfectly tonight. And how often it happens that you make all your peels until the last end, and then you get your first nose hit of the night. We'll see what happens here.
Well, Fred's looking like a nose hit
Yeah,
right now.
he really is. It's pretty close. And you see it again and again. The guy didn't miss anything all night.
Yeah, there he is. So now he's...
And now Jonathan's...
The game is
has
on.
an embarrassment of riches. He doesn't know which guard to go behind.
There's Fred now. He's not happy with that. He's hiding.
He's working the gum pretty hard.
Now the only thing about it is that it's now he can maybe get a double with it next time.
Possibly, and they will be peeling again no matter where Jonathan puts this. So this is it's very important for them to make this. Get it somewhat behind the guard.
This is Nathan Small.
Just make sure this is on the paint somewhere. It's the next draw they throw is going to be the important one to make better. And that's, I don't know if that picked or what, but it's very tight but heavy.
It's heavy. It's just it's gonna get past the red, but barely.
Jonathan wanted them to sweep it. They told him it was heavy, so he let it off. They did get it by. I think it's going to stop. Yep. There's nothing wrong with that because you know Wes is going to go peel anyways. So they just wanted it in the rings. So he's going to try to...
how many games, how many times do you curl in a week?
Well, I curl once, but some of these guys will play 3 or 4. These guys that play out in the guys you see are playing tankard, they'll play one game on Thursday, one game on Tuesday, and then they'll go bondspieling on the weekends. Wow, we've got another miss.
There's Fred missing twice.
And all of a sudden, Jonathan Duguay, the 3 is in play now, and after being almost ready to shake hands back in that 4th end when he had to draw against 3, he's not unreasonable to think that he could win this. Now, as I said earlier, this is the crucial shot. Now, the first one just had to be in the paint. He really wants to bury this one well. And if you bury this one well, it changes the way Wes has to play the rest of the end.
And where are you going?
He's going behind the yellow corner guard towards the wall. Mike says there's lots of weight. You hear him say just for line, meaning the weight is there. He doesn't need to sweep it to get it to the rings.
Well, see how far it comes over now.
It's a nice looking shot. They'd really like it to bury a little more, and I think it is. That's perfect. And that's what they wanted. And now Wes has got to decide. At some point here, Wes may have to decide to start going for a steal again because he's running out of chances to bail out. If he peels a guard now, Jonathan's going to have 2 rocks buried in the 4-foot. He's going to try it, which means he's really hoping to get one of the yellow ones out of the rings as well.
Yes, right.
He wants the guard gone and one in the rings.
4 rocks remaining for each team. And a ball.
No sweep yet, which means it's probably out there. They missed it wide last time. Got enough of it this time. So now Jonathan Duguay, down 2, is already sitting 2, and he's trying to sit 3.
He can sit 3.
And he'll go around that red guard, and he'll try to get it half buried. He's asking them if they want to throw another corner guard, which isn't a bad shot either.
Can we go behind the... So that is Jonathan Duguay.
John, I like the corner. You like another corner? Yeah, I do. The good thing about the corner is that...
Kevin talking. Paul wants to throw a corner guard, and Mike is saying,
That's okay, because
yeah. And there's nothing wrong. Wes has shown that he's going to go and peel them. So you're sort of hoping he expends a few more rocks on guards, and you go for your 3rd point later.
3 to go. 3 rocks to go.
But at some point, Wes is going to abandon the corner. So he has to make this right. If he shows him the center side, Wes is going to play it and try to double the 2 yellows.
Augureau.
Well, they're not sweeping it.
Here it comes.
They're waiting for it to curl. They need it to stop. They don't want it too deep. If it's too deep, it makes the doubles easier for Wes. It's a pretty good shot.
Close, close.
Once again, the decision time for West. Does he get aggressive and try to steal, or does he keep trying to bail out? And here he goes. Yep, it's indicated a freeze.
Andrew Ball,
So
I think initially looked like he was going to try to take the two, the
So
guard and the one in the rings, but no.
So he's now playing a shot that if you make it, gets you out of the game, but if you miss it, gives him a much easier chance to score the 3 that beats you. So you start taking the tie away. I believe he'd like to freeze right on that yellow one, although if he can keep it in front of the tee line and bury it, he'll be okay too.
Wes Johnson with the Red Rocks has a 2-point lead, as you can see, but it's Duguay.
And we haven't seen
hammer.
this rock curl all night, and once again they've been fooled. Like, that's not even close. He's bumping him in for a 3rd point. That's almost 3 feet from where they wanted that to end up in line, and that's
wow.
for guys this good. That's just misreading the ice, and they haven't picked up on that at all. That is dead straight.
And we
there.
have seen that almost constantly going in both directions on that side.
That's right. That's right. That's where Wes missed the rock in the 6th end, and Andrews drawed it. That's just no movement whatsoever.
There goes the.
There's our bell.
There's the horn. So now they're going to finish this end, but
the
they were
last
going to
one.
anyway.
That's right. So now Paul can have them sitting 4 here. All he's trying to do now is protect that back one. Now Wes is desperate. He's going to be drawing to that back one.
So Wes has 2 shots remaining. There are 3 yellows in the house. Giroux, did he pull a string?
No, but it's not curling. Again, look how straight that is. He can't get it off there. And he may have left Wes a port to come through here. Well, that's a bit of a lucky kiss.
He just took the port away.
So now we may see Wes play the wide turn. Yep, he's indicating there. And he'll just draw to there. And because those top 2 yellows are so far from the button, he has enough room here to get one in there. And they may be a little sorry that they left Paul's rock where it did, because that would have been the way for them to get in for their extra point.
So are you thinking now that he has a chance to become shot?
Oh, yeah, definitely. This curls so well. If Wes throws this up into the top 4 foot behind the guard, we'll end up seeing Jonathan try to run back that rock that Paul just threw. If Wes can make it. This is not a gimme. He's got to be full 8 foot, and he doesn't want to go behind the tee line.
They each have 2 shots remaining. Now Wes Johnson has only 1.
He's got lots of weight.
It's hot.
They need this to slow down.
It's going to go right through and out.
So a complete turnaround here for 5 ends. Johnson's team couldn't miss, and now all of a sudden the last 3.
So if you're Duguay now, do you just stop that shot?
Yeah, anywhere top 12 foot, top 8 foot, and Wes is going to have to play some sort of an angle raise.
He's got 2 red ones out, far out.
Yeah, he's got all the winning points he needs already in the rings. What he wants to make sure is that Wes can't make the shot he just tried.
Right.
I don't want it any deeper than.
So this is the second last shot for Duguay.
Trying to hear what he said. He said something about I don't want it any deeper than, and I didn't quite hear what he said, but I think top 8 foot. He doesn't want it deep enough that Wes could sit on top of it and cut him down to 2. So he would like to leave that one in the 8 foot as second shot, I think. He's taking some extra ice. Again, as long as he doesn't leave a hole, Wes is going to have to try something tricky.
Top 8. He just wants to stop a chance for.
The line's good. Now they want it to stop. They don't want it so deep that Wes could draw down to it and maybe hold him to 2. And that's perfect. So now if Wes sits on that, he's still 5th shot. So there's no out turn anymore. I believe he's going to end up having to bump one of the red ones that's short of the rings. I don't think he's got any straight shot in.
So you got 2 red ones. You got a red one.
He must have made up his mind pretty quickly. He's put the broom down.
This has been an interesting game.
And a shocking turnaround.
Yeah.
I mean, we were really, really one shot away from them quitting after 5.
It was 7-3.
And Jonathan had been looking at 3, right? It would have been 9-3. Or it would have been if he hadn't made that draw.
Right.
And it would have been 9-2.
Yeah.
And now Wes has got to play about a 15-foot raise to the button, and even then Jonathan will have a chance to beat him. Very difficult shot.
Here's the game right here.
Yeah, this is that straight spot, and it looks like they're holding it. The line is good. Now, how's his weight? Got to get it into the 8-foot, and he's throwing a beauty. Look at that. What a wonderful shot.
Great shot, and he is shot.
And he may have lined it up perfectly, because now if Jonathan plays the yellow onto the red, it may go onto the back yellow. I'm not sure Jonathan can get that out.
Watch this here now.
Wow, what a great shot from Wes. Perfect angle.
We'll watch it come in now here.
Wait. See? Just watch where it ends up, because Jonathan can hit that yellow one in front of it, but will it go by the back yellow? That's now what they're trying to decide.
That's where he wanted. That's where Wes wanted his last draw to go.
That's right. That's
that
right.
ironic?
He got it there the hard way.
Just a perfect shot.
So they're going to try this. He's going to hit the yellow onto the red, and he just needs the red out of the rings.
Well, it doesn't matter what happens. This is the last shot.
This is the last shot of the game because we don't break ties. And I could see this. Well, the red one is almost certainly going to hit that back yellow. It's whether or not it will still spin out. There's even a scenario here where we get a tie. I could the shooter, the top yellow, and the back yellow all go with the red one, and maybe those 2 yellows over at the other side end up scoring 2 points. It's just hard to predict where that's going to go.
There is a red guard.
Yeah. He's got to get as close to that red guard as he can. They've said whoa. It's got to be a little full. Here it comes.
He's got it. He's got
very
it.
close to what he
He's
wanted.
close.
Now, what will happen
He's
to that
close.
red one? It parked, it spins, and we do have a tie game. After all of that,
We do have a tie game.
almost.
There we go.
Almost suitable.
So 2 rocks, 2. You can see it over top. Here it comes.
Real tough shot. He threw it beautifully. He threw the tough shots really well tonight. And maybe a little more weight it could have spun out. I don't know if we can see. Oh, here we see how close did they come. They needed that red rock to roll about 6 more inches.
And it just got to
there. Yeah,
not
it did
quite.
not have to go
So
much
the
farther.
but the other one at the outside is
That third shot.
we end up with a game tied at 8-8. That was a great game.
That was very exciting. And look at that, 8-8.
Dave Sykes, thank you so much for your contribution, and I hope we
My
get
pleasure.
A
It was
hope
fun.
we get a chance to do this again.
All right. Anytime.
Yeah, we've been part of the watching this men's competitive league A-division game from the Oakville Curling Club, and we will be back next week for another game here from Oakville and our whole TV Cozico crew. I'm Don McMillan.